And welcome to another edition of Judgment Day, where we take Reddit posts and we judge them, because the three of us are skilled judgers of people and things and stories and the like, whatnot. Anyway, it's me, Matt. We got Logan and Raina joining as always. We're still working on trying to get a guest, but we record Monday afternoons, so it is not the most guest-friendly time, I believe, but we're getting there.
3 p.m. on a Monday. It's like old people lunchtime or dinner time. But
We are like the Bob Evans early risers for sure over here. All right, so let's start this episode off. Here is, I think, one of the more juiciest ones we've done. So get ready. Would I be the asshole if I told my friend about their child who's 22 years old? Would I be an asshole if I told my friend about their 22-year-old child's attempt to begin a romantic relationship with me?
okay.
Okay. Wait, did they say how old they were yet?
Yes, they're 39. So let me get into the story. That title, I don't know about you, I got some goosebumps. Like, ooh, like,
Yeah.
that is a sticky situation.
Rough waters.
Here we go. The child of a very close friend of mine recently confessed their romantic interest in me. They were unfortunately very serious about this. I was very involved in bringing up this child, almost like an aunt or uncle, so the confession was a huge disappointment.
Ooh.
I have been reflecting on my actions these past few days, really just fearful that I have fucked up in my interactions with the child and permanently twisted them somehow. I immediately rejected the child, which he's 22, so I don't love the word child here.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
I immediately rejected the 22-year-old and have pretty much cut off all communication and meetings. To their credit, they have reacted fairly mature to the rejection, but apparently they have not ceased their attempt to pursue me. I intend to tell my friend about what has transpired because, one, it seems too important to keep a secret. My friend will be very hurt if they found about this themselves. Two, I hope my friend can have a talk with their child who's 22 and hopefully steer them away. My sibling, also very involved in bringing up the child, did not approve of this. They felt, one, telling my friend would damage the relationship between us all, and then I risk damaging the parent-child relationship with this information. Two, this is a mere infatuation, and I just have to endure a short while for it to fade. And three, well, it's a 22-year-old, so there's nothing my friend could really do to control them, so I would achieve nothing and only end up effing over our friendship. So would I be the asshole if I told my best friend about their 22-year-old child's attempt to begin a romantic relationship with me? Who wants to start? This one is...
This is juicy.
This is
You're
like...
not lying.
This is pretty... Like, is this real? That's what I wanted. That's my first question.
I would say, yeah, probably. Like, I feel like this happens all the time, you know? Like, you're around someone so much, and then when you become an adult, like, you start seeing them in a different way sometimes. So I 100% think that this is real. Probably happens consistently. Friends, Monica and Richard. Anybody?
No.
The show Friends?
No.
No.
What? Come on, guys.
I hate to say failed, but that was pretty
That
bad.
totally failed. You guys were like, no.
Well,
basically,
what happened there? I mean, aren't they
same
all the
situation.
same age?
So she eventually ends up dating one of her parents' friends because, you know, she got older and then saw him and he saw, and like, she's an adult now, you know, so very similar. I mean, they actually dated. So it sounds like this poster is not interested in dating the 22-year-old, which I think is good.
Yeah. Go ahead, Raina, please.
I think it just gets a little tricky when it sounds like she reared this child. Like
We actually don't know pronouns. So as far we don't know, you know, is it he, she, they on either of the two. So I guess
do we want to give them names?
Yeah, let's give them names. Let's call the 39-year-old friend of the
Monica
family.
and Richard?
Yeah, let's do Monica and Richard. We're gonna assume, although assumptions make asses out of you and me, but we'll call the 22-year-old child of the friend Monica, and then 39-year-old friend of the family Richard. So Raina, please take it away. I want to hear your
That's so
lovely voice.
interesting because I would have thought the younger one was the boy.
Yeah, that's immediately where my mind went to.
That's so funny that we had that reverse. So maybe it's best to just not. I don't know. Well, okay, so adults rearing this child is like the vibe I'm getting, where I'm getting the impression that they played a really active role in this 22-year-old adult, not a child's life. And that's kind of where it lies for me, because like the situation Logan was describing, it's one thing to go after like a parent when you're older, you know, it's like, oh, hey, you know, so like hanging out with a friend's dad. And then it's like, oh, now I'm 23, I've been to college, and like best friend, I actually like have a big crush on your dad. Like,
But yeah, when it's like an aunt or uncle, like,
yeah, like how involved in the raising process was this person? Because obviously it would be really not normal. Well, I don't say not normal, but it would not be as like appropriate if it was like someone who raised this person. But if it's just we had a relationship, we knew of each other, we came into contact a lot when they were younger, and maybe some time has passed, they went to college, they came back, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a little different then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they say I basically am like an aunt uncle figure to them. Like they describe that relationship, you know. And it's one thing to be like, oh, I knew of them, and I knew of like I'm casual friends with the family, or I'm friends with the parents, and I've met them over the years. Versus, it sounds like to me they were integral to that adult 22-year-old former child, now 22. You know, it sounds like they were integral to that. So I don't know, like I feel like if you were an adult when they were getting their diapers changed, and you were around and stayed around and have been around, that's just not a line to cross. Even if it was mutual, even, you know, it's consensual, it's 22-39, which is not a huge age difference to me. I mean, that is, I feel like someone who's 22 and someone who's 39, probably in very different parts of their life for sure. But, you know, if they're happy, they're happy. But obviously this case, no, it got shut down. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be very weird for those parents to be like, our close family friend is dating our 22-year-old who they've like been a part of since birth. I don't get how you get over that, you know?
Is that the 39-year-old isn't even like, I'm gonna do it. They just, should they tell the friends? Which is,
that's the second part of this is, are we just telling out of, hey, I need to report this, I feel like I'm obligated to tattle on this person, like I'm not weird, like I just want you guys to know this is something I'm not comfortable with coming from like a place of being scared, or is it like you know, like the intention there is kind of where I'm hung up also, is like, do you got to tattle on this person? They're 22 years old now. It's at a point where this person has like an independent life and can make their own decisions. Why do you got to rat them out to mom and dad? That kind of, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Unless
somebody
I feel
ran
like
to my parents.
Unless they were like actively going to try and date that person, why should they tell them, you know? Like what do they gain from that? It feels weird to me.
I think it's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because if this was someone who was like 16, 15, absolutely tell the parents. Like, if I was in their situation, it was a 15, 16-year-old, I'd be like, beep, boop, 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 beep, like hands down
immediately.
Easily. Given that they're 22, there is like a little bit of that flex period there. But I don't know. I think for me, honesty is the best policy. And I would just, in his shoes, I'd probably pull the parents aside and be like, hey, you know, they kind of confessed they had a crush for me. Obviously, I shot it down. Don't approach them about this. I just wanted you to know that this had happened. But like, that's how I think I would go about it. Because like, if these parents find out somehow and the friend didn't mention anything, that I think looks really shady. It does look like something was happening or maybe happening. And I feel like he does lose, or she, the family friend loses credibility. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not sure what you guys feel, but
I think you're on point.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it just feels weird that they would tell them since nothing is happening, you know? And if it got brought up later in life, maybe just be like, yeah, that was weird. I, you know, immediately shut it down and never thought about it ever again.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
This is a really tough one, actually.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think asshole would be the word I would use. either way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, guys. This is hard.
Raina, do you have anything, or should we say judgment, or do we need like another minute of deliberation before the jury votes?
I just hope that kid knew what they were getting themselves into.
I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta say, not kudos because that sounds congratulatory, but this 22-year-old kid, they stepped up. They had a crush. They said something, and although I wish that although I wish the 22-year-old had like the common sense a little bit more to say, "Ooh, this is a little inappropriate." I want almost a good for you, but
good for them.
I don't know if I feel that way. I mean, if I'm in a position, which I wouldn't be, because the first thing is like, oh my God, that's a family friend. That's like an aunt or an uncle to me. No way. So that they must just be going through. There must be something else they're going through. Like maybe they don't feel attractive or wanted or desired, and they're twisting that familial type bond with the family friend, trying to get something out of that. And it's like, there's plenty of fish in the sea. You're 22. You have so much time on your hands. Relax,
And sometimes for people, it's like proximity is easy. It's like who's around. So if they're constantly around that family friend, they might think, oh, like this could be something more since they're right here,
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Well, I'm ready for judgment. Are you guys ready for judgment?
You can go first then.
I'll go first. I'm going to say not the asshole. I think no matter what, this is a very
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
If he would be the asshole if he told the parents.
If he told. Got it. Okay.
I think not the asshole because, frankly, I wouldn't want to keep this secret myself. I think he'd be the asshole if he told the parents and expected them to like do something, or like they all have to sit down and talk about it. He's not the asshole if he goes to the parents and is like, hey, just like FYI, they have a crush on me. It's chill. I didn't follow up with it. I just want that transparency to know that like I wouldn't cross that boundary. And maybe just don't ask them about this, but just see if they're okay. Like, looks like their romantic life might be a mess if they're coming to me. That
makes sense.
Bada bing, bada boom. We move on to talk about, oh, what's that recipe for that salad you had last week? Nothing more needs to be said. No speculation. No, like, oh, can you imagine if you two were dating? No, we're going to toss that in the garbage with the leftover salad that's been sitting in the fridge for 3 days. So not the asshole. It's a delicate situation. And I think, I don't know. I just think if you're friends with these people for years, you helped raise this child. Like that's the priority. You and that child's relationship to me is the second priority, I think. So that's where I stand. Raina, Logan, anyone ready to judge?
Yeah, I say not the asshole. You don't want it to be awkward for anybody. Sometimes popping that balloon of like awkwardness is better than, like you were saying, somebody finding out and misinterpreting what that would mean. Are you hiding that from us as the parents, or were you actually considering dating our child? Like, it's better to just get it out there, say it, than risk it being uncomfortable, and kind of shut that down. If they're actually not interested in dating dating the 22-year-old, then there's really no reason, especially with all the added baggage, to let it continue. If there's a way to shut it down, and you're never going to want to date that person, then don't. I would just say, I would say probably no assholes here, because you can't really fault the 22-year-old for doing their thing and going after that. But so long as the 22-year-old is not pressuring this person, because that was in that post, it sounded like it had just been a few days, and I don't know if they were reaching out more than once in a few days. Like that would be uncomfortable. But as long as it's I don't want to say safe, but as long as it's a peaceful type of, hey, I'm just gonna let you know where I'm feeling, and not really pressuring this person, then that's fine. But I'd say no assholes here.
Logan
is not
devil's advocate.
Okay, advocate it up, you devil.
I think I'm gonna say asshole.
Okay.
I just I get where you guys are coming from with the whole, you don't want to hide it because that makes it look sneaky. But it's like, you both are adults. Nothing happened. And so it's like, what's there to tell, really, you know? Someone confessed feelings for you. It's not like they're saying, hey, I've been in love with you my whole life and I finally want to give this a shot. Well, I don't know. They might have. But
I mean, they might have.
they totally might have. I'm just assuming them. Oh, did I unplug my mic? I think I'm good. I just assume that they said something like, hey, I have a crush on you and I just wanted to let you know. But if it was something more extreme, okay, maybe. But I don't know. People can tell you that they're in love with you all the time, you know, but if you don't act on it, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I shut it down and nothing's happening. So what's there to talk about, you know?
I'm kind of reminded, there's this quote from American Dad, and it's like, you know, if I don't tell him what happened, then this little thing that meant nothing becomes a big thing that becomes something. Because like, I'm trying to imagine like 15 years down the line, this actually gets out of some sort. That I think would really do damage.
But then it's 15 years later. It's like that happened 15 years ago. Like,
yeah,
I don't even
but
know
like
what happened yesterday.
15 years ago, this thing happened that probably at the time wouldn't have really been seen as a deal, but now it's seen as a deal. That's just that's what I keep kind of thinking back to, is like, I don't know. I just think
no, I totally get
honest
that.
And
now I'm wondering what the consequences would be for the 22-year-old. If like that's where my mind is going now that we're talking about this. What are the parents going to do?
Yeah, what if they,
you know what I mean?
What if the 22-year-old still lives at home? What if the 22-year-old is still reliant on the parents, and the parents would get mad and, you know, not ground, but, you know, kind of do something? Like, some parents still have that power, even though a kid's an adult.
I know my mom would be pissed.
Yeah.
Your mom would be like, I'm leaving Wisconsin right now.
Like, en
route to Cleveland immediately.
Only because she wouldn't want me to hide a secret like that, or she would just want to know. That's just the way she is. But like, I don't think they're going to be grounded or anything like that. But sometimes those emotional consequences, you know, there's something that it could be nothing. It could be, I'm not speaking to you at Thanksgiving. Who knows? But that's just something to consider for the tattling. And I do say tattling.
It is tattling.
But here's the thing. I mean, and we don't know how serious this gets, but what if it's like, you know, they imply that this person is still trying to pursue them. I mean, what happens if they send suggestive photos? What happens if they make comments via text or in person?
Then it's like, it's not just a comment, it becomes a thing. And then I think, oh my God, tell them. Be like, hey, this has been happening. But I don't know. I think if it's just, here's how I feel, there's no reason to tell.
Well, what do we think the thread said?
I think the thread agreed with you guys.
You know, Reddit audience can be hit or miss sometimes.
They really can. They're out here like a Dear Abby article, flip-flopping every sort of way.
You know, I'm so glad we didn't talk about the age gap, because I feel like a lot of people are very into judging people based on the age gap alone. I don't think the age gap has any factor in this. But I feel like they're going to be really uptight about the age gap. And for that reason, I feel like they're going to say, you're the asshole.
They said not the asshole.
Oh, good.
So they agree with Rain and I. The top one says, I think you have to tell them. They'll never trust you again if you don't, and they'll find out anyway. Second biggest one says, not the asshole, but I would consider very carefully before telling this to them, because it might backfire massively. Perhaps give the child an ultimatum. Either they stop harassing you, or you'll tell their parent, and make sure you have proof of them being the instigator and not you. And it sucks to have to think about that. Like, it's almost like a battle or a war. Yeah. The third top comment is actually no assholes here. You're in a very tough no-win spot. Personally, I would not tell my friend. Their kid is an adult. Maybe they would laugh about this crush. Maybe they would be horrified or blame you. You have already told their child this is inappropriate and never going to happen. Keep avoiding them. If they continue to attempt inappropriate behavior towards them, tell them how offended you are. And like your sister said, with any luck, this will pass soon.
Yeah.
I feel like, Logan, that is where you are.
Oh yeah.
I think is like this concept of like, I mean, if you tell them, it could be make it a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah, for sure. But again, if like it continued to become a thing and there's a continued harassment and like inappropriate stuff, obviously then at that point tell them for sure, because that's that they're making you uncomfortable and that's not fair to you and they need to step in. But yeah, it doesn't need to be a thing, I don't think.
Ooh, my goodness gracious. I don't even know. I am like stunned at this one. This is a hard rock and a other hard place, or a rock, whatever that saying is.
It's a lot of rocks everywhere.
This rocks. This is a rock garden. All right. Well, we have committed judgment. What do you think? You'll have to let us know if you know us personally. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.
Judgment Day is a podcast by Starvolt Studios. Judgment Day is executively produced by Matt Rebar, Logan Molnar, and Raina Butel. For more awesome content, just go to starvoltstudios.com or on their Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page.